Welcome to DivTech 101, aka Black Mantle, as we discuss information technology, also known as IT. In today's video, I want to do the full video of what age is tech introduced. And this is a short video that I had done a couple of days ago that has gained a lot of different views, but I want to kind of do an extended version of this particular video because we live in an age of technology now, where technology is introduced to kids at an early age. So I posed the question of what age is tech introduced? Now I gained a lot of responses from this, which was great because it let me know that people seem to be interested in this topic. On today's video, I want to go over 5 key points that you should take a look at when dealing with technology and children. One of the first things, number one, is readiness and maturity. When you're looking at this from a technical standpoint, you want to make sure that you consider your child's individual readiness and maturity level way before you start introducing technology to them. If your child seems to not really grasp the need and grasp the concept of technology, it's not a good idea to put technology in front of them because you never know what they would click on, how they would respond to things. But if you have a child that is somewhat responsible and they do practice active listening, you then should be able to slightly introduce technology to them at an early age so they can understand the basics and the concepts of what technology actually is. Now, an example of this is if you have an old tablet of some sort and you have some games or something educational locally installed on the tablet, just sit with them on the couch and give it to them and see what they do with it. See if they click any different kinds of applications or any web browser links or anything outside of that game. From that point, you can garner just their attention and really see if they are actually ready. Now, it does take a while for children to mature, but what you're doing is you're teaching them responsibility and actively following instructions as what you see. Once you determine that they are ready, and their readiness and maturity level is at a certain point, the second portion of it is early exposure. And what early exposure is that you introduce age appropriate technology. And that doesn't mean that you give them your iPhone 12 or 16 or whatever people. What that means is that if you give them a phone, give them an old phone that doesn't work anymore, but it just powers on so they can just press buttons how they want to press it. You're introducing them to technology in that matter. You definitely want to disable internet access, especially on a kid's device, because it can be definitely dangerous. But when you introduce that age appropriate technology, and even if it's like an iPad, you preset games on there that are not online, and you give them that age appropriate technology and you supervise their usage at an early age so that you can foster the familiarity and the basic skill sets of technology. Now, I get it. Most parents are not tech savvy at all. However, a person, just a general person out in society, has enough basic skills to operate a cell phone. So you're able to give that kid some type of mobile device that they can use that's not connected online and not connected to anyone. Once they are ready and they're exposed and the early exposure is taking place, the third thing that you want to do is set some guidelines in regards to time. So when you have that screen time guidelines, what you're doing is normally you can follow the recommendations that are online dealing with pediatrics as far as recommendations for limited and supervised screen time based on a child's age. But I would say almost about 4 or 5 years old, they're going to grasp the concept of at least moving their thumbs and tapping on different things. Now, you still have to be conscious, people, of what things that your child is looking at, especially online. If they're watching YouTube or watching Amazon Prime or watching some type of app that has movies or shows on them, make sure that they're watching shows that are appropriate. Make sure that you are supervising them in that regard because you have to practice the safety online. Now, once you get the guidelines, at least on the Amazon Fire tablets, you have you can set it in 15-minute increments. So at 4 times per hour, they may have 15 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of education, 15 minutes of movies, and 15 minutes of audible learning or some sort like that. You can just set your own personal timelines in that regard to that portion. Now, once you have the screen time guidelines set, the fourth step is parental supervision. Parental supervision is very important because you need to be actively participating and supervising every single thing that your child is doing with technology. Even if it's a phone that's not connected online, you're supervising and making sure that they are not getting into apps and things and games and viewing stuff that they should not be viewing. So parents, what this means is you don't just give them a device and walk off to another room and leave them in the room by themselves with these devices. You have to keep in mind the bad actors that can actually get into devices, turn on cameras and things like that. Protect your children by any means necessary when it comes to being online. Now, when you are supervising the usage, you need to engage with them to be sure during that screen time that you're monitoring their online activities and making sure they are not getting into anything inappropriate. That is a very big concern, especially with a lot of parents. And last but not least, to all my parents out there, digital citizenship and safety is very important because that teaches responsibility, that teaches the child digital citizenship, online safety, and privacy. And privacy is a big thing from an early age. You start teaching them right at home. You start teaching them right on how to use this technology. When they get older, they will fully understand, have a better grasp of it. And you are addressing those appropriate behaviors and definitely limiting those potential risks that are out there. So if you haven't taken anything away from today's video, you want to make sure that you, number one, make sure that they have the readiness and maturity, the early exposure, screen time guidelines, parental supervision, and digital citizenship and safety. The ultimate goal is to protect kids online so that way we know that when they're out in the public and when they're out on these tablets, or if somebody gets them a tablet at school, that they know how to follow the proper protocol in that regard. Thanks for listening to today's video. Like, listen, and subscribe. DevTech 101 aka Black Mantle. Look forward to talking with you soon.